Hey everybody, this is Charlie Musselwhite, and you're listening to Athena After Dark. I ain't lying. Thank you, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome to Athena After Dark. That was the great Charlie Musselwhite. That's my intro. I so love and adore him. I hope you all had a great week. I know we sure did. And we have a great show tonight. Wonderful guests. So let's kickstart this baby and get it rolling. All right. Last week I told everybody, you saw the intro, Charlie Musselwhite. He got a part in the Martin Scorsese movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. What an incredible book. And the movie is supposed to be even better. Hi, Miss Ivy. I see you. As you all come in, I'll do my best to say hello. But I know you're there watching. All right. So, Killers of the Lost Moon of the Flower Moon. It's about the Osage tribe, okay, in Oklahoma. It was released in Cannes in March of this year, and October 20th is when it comes out. You have to go see it. I have a little bit of a teaser here, so we're going to play it. Ready, set? Okay. I love you, babe.
Killers of the Flower Moon, rated R, only in theaters October. Killers of the Flower Moon, rated R, only in.
You're so good to me. Don's doing good. Don is my production person. So I told you guys we lost thing one, not permanently, but he got absconded by a redhead, a blonde, and a brunette when I took him to Bike Week, and his mother's still not talking to me because we have not seen him since. So we're hoping he resurfaces soon because we're extremely worried about him. And well, there's a ransom, but we won't talk about that now. We'll talk about that next show.
You're a ransom.
I am a ransom. You're a ransom too. Hi, Nadine. I see you. How are you today? My chicks on 66, they're all coming in. That is so funny. Miss Ivy, if I could get tickets, I would get you tickets to go see that. That is so cool. All right. So as we always talk about things to do, so we have some upcoming stuff. This week is Biketoberfest, and it's one of my favorite events because, well, I'm here in Florida, and Daytona is favorite. Okay, the reason we go to Daytona is because of Willie's Tropical Tattoo Chopper Time show. That's for us chopperheads. That's what we do for sure. And then the place to stay, Miss Maggie's South Country Inn. It is the most phenomenal bed and breakfast. Absolutely. We will be there. You can definitely book. Oh, look at this. So in the picture there, you see she has the cabana, that little round wooden thing. That's a sauna. She has the bar. She has so much cool stuff. It is super neat. That's the courtyard, the other side of the courtyard. Look at these rooms. Amazing. We're going to stay there. I'm so excited. The fireplace. I think that's the room we're staying in. I sure hope so because it's getting cold. It's going to be like 50 some degrees here tonight. I'm freezing already just thinking about it. And tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go north. So, of course, it'll be extra cold. There's the dining room where she feeds everybody all the good food. So I'm looking forward to the bed and breakfast. So Miss Maggie's South Country Inn, and that's in Daytona. And it is off-season, the place to bring your family and come and stay when it's cold up north and you guys want to get away. During Bike Week and Biketoberfest, if you're a NASCAR fan, any races, anything like that, please check it out. And we might do a little piece this weekend live from there because I want you all to see how incredible it is. Okay. So, like I said, we're ready. We're ready for Biketoberfest. Later on in the month, we have the High Seas Rally. You will not find me on that because I get seasick, Don and I both. When you're in Daytona, I do believe Sons of Speed are racing this Saturday. Let's see. A few other things. Lone Star Rally in Galveston too. That's another really good one. That one is going to be off the chain, I'm pretty sure. And can I just tell you, I actually went to Dallas this weekend. It was pretty neat. I got to go to Dallas, to Strokers Dallas, to see Rick Fairless. It was his birthday, and we kind of had a little gathering of builders. I was fortunate enough to participate. And next week, I'll put a little something together because I have to tell you the whole story. It was phenomenal. I almost didn't make it in time because, of course, I missed my morning flight. Long story. Got another flight, rerouted, got there. The group photo was at 12:30. They stalled for like 10 minutes. I pulled in and I was out of the Uber, which was my first time in an Uber. Not a fun experience. They too much perfume. But anyway, so I get out of the vehicle and I run in, drop my bag, and they're all set up. And yay, I made it for the group photo. But just in case, Miss Gypsy and Sir Barry Wardlaw went ahead and ordered a 16 by 20 picture of my face so that if I didn't make it, they could put it in there. And I'd be there anyways. So I'll show you guys pictures from that next week. It was fantastic. I got to be in a room with people that are icons in my world. So it was absolutely incredible. All right. So as you guys know, we have a wonderful sponsor, Techno Research. They do so much for us and they let us help out with this show. We use all their equipment for our tuning and our diagnostics. Well, not so much tuning anymore, thanks to the EPA, but the diagnostics on the motorcycles, we do stereo flashes and so on and so forth with their Centurion program. So they are sponsors of us. Oh yeah. See, babe, we should do an ad for that. You can talk back there, even though everybody can hear you. When you lose your key fob, and you don't know your PIN, we can retrieve your PIN and we can reprogram your key fob. So if by any chance you're in Daytona Beach this weekend and save how much, babe?
About $1,000.
$1,000 because you have to replace the ECM, the BCM, and the key fob, plus the labor to put it all in and everything like that. Cost you about $1,000.
They can clone your tune. If they can't clone your tune, then you have to retune your.
I should just have Don over here. If they can't clone your tune, you have to retune all your whole motorcycle. See, I'm like the little puppet over here today. It's okay. I don't mind. And, not for anything. It seems crazy, but if you guys are in Biketoberfest and something happens, we're bringing the computer with us. So you can just go ahead and call the Vagabond Chopper number, and I'll put a little thing up there. Are you okay over there, big guy? Stepping on things? Tearing stuff up?
No, man, just noticing things.
So
I'm a noticer.
I have another picture that I wanted to put up there. This week has been a rough week for me, and I don't know why. I guess because of my birthday and everything like that. But I came across this picture, and it made me realize that, boy, how we grow. Yeah, put that one up there, please. So this is a picture of my hippie parents, my cousin David picking his nose, and me. I was so excited. So we had just gotten to California. My Uncle Larry and his wife and my cousin met us there. During this stay in California, my dad he got a job at the CBS studios working for the Sonny and Cher show. Hey, Larry, nice to see you. My cousin David, he's something else. He's pretty crazy, but yeah, there he is picking his nose. I think it was a stripe thing, but we were talking about my background and my history, and I realized that although it was unique in its own right and really different, it made me who I am today. Looking back at some of the photos, stuff like that, I cried this week because, I miss both my parents. They're not here. I have friends who are dealing with things, having to take care of their parents as they age and get older and stuff like that. And I realized that I have an inner peace because I got the opportunity to do that for my parents, with my parents. And then I looked at the picture and I was like, wow, look at that. Look at how old I am now. Holy shit. We age. And I guess I kind of see the similarities. You can't really see it. It's blurry. I took a picture with my phone of the picture before I lost the picture because Uncle Larry gave me that right before he passed away. And yeah, it was kind of crazy because times have changed so much and you don't realize that everything you go through and all the different scenarios. And, there was the hippie stage and wow, like you go through the hippie stuff, the disco stuff. I watched my parents go through the 80s were a little confusing, I think, to everybody involved. And then as I got older and to the 90s and 2000s, we got into computers and the internet and technology. And look, I'm sitting right here in front of a camera, in front of all of you. I have a guest tonight and we're doing some cool, crazy shit. So how awesome is that? Miss Lisa Boots, I love you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It was a good birthday. Let's see. Oh, yes. And my brother-in-law, my absolute favorite brother-in-law, his birthday, October 17th. So happy birthday. Shout out to my favorite brother-in-law, who is a veteran. He was an Army Ranger. He's retired, and it's awesome. hopefully, what's that?
Hopefully he's feeling better.
Oh yeah, hopefully he's feeling better. Yeah, he had a little bout with something there. So, okay, I know you guys are all. The reason I love to do this show is because we get to know our guests. That's why I do this. I want everyone to know who our guests are. We all know about what they do, but we like to know who they are. Oh, look at me. I am sweating like I shouldn't say it, right, babe? I'm going to turn on the fan. I think that's a good idea. No, it's
I didn't know if it was too cold for you tonight since it's
too
so
cold.
damn
It's
cold.
hot in here. It's that menopause thing. And I don't know why they call it menopause. I don't want to pause for my man or men in general. Society sometimes, but yeah, sometimes you just break out in a hot sweat. If anybody ever told me that we were going to burn from the inside out, from the waist up, boy, howdy, I would have tried. I probably would have become a scientist to figure out how to make all that go away. But I don't feel bad because I watch Gwen Stefani on The Voice and it happens to her all the time. So that's what your 40s and your 50s are for. Okay, so we're going to show some pictures. You know, I love having my guests. Hi, Lance. I see you from Leesburg. Tonight, we have a phenomenal guest. And most of you know her. If you don't, you will know her, get to know her as a person, but you'll know who she does, Miss Tricia. Now, I'm going to massacre her name. So I'm sure everybody does. It's Szulewski, right? Is that? I'm thinking that's how you're gonna say it. No, I could see her over there. She's like, no, Szulewski. So no, we're gonna let her pronounce her name. It's kind of funny. I know there's a ski at the end of it, so that means like we're doing good. It's gonna get cold. We're right up her alley. I got you. So I'll fake it till I make it. So okay, we're gonna show some pictures. You guys know I love to show the photos first. All right, babe. Will you start with the kitties? Look at those kitties. Those are her pals, her kitties. Okay, very good. Oh, where'd you go there? Okay. All right. Now, this is her on the back of a motorcycle, on a racing motorcycle. And we're going to let her talk about all that because she's got the in on these photos. Okay, there she is. She's quite an adventurer. That was on Chicks on 66 on a crazy road. We definitely rode together across country in a group. It was fantastic. I think that had to be one of the highlights of my rides ever. Look at her. She's a badass.
On a test drive.
Yeah, she test drives and she does reviews for Women Riders Now because she is the editor. If you guys aren't familiar with Women Riders Now, you should check it out at www.womenridersnow.com. Now, there she is. Oh, look at that. Very good. Go ahead. We're going to get through the pictures because, you know, Don loves to do that. That was our picture for our announcement, for our reminder. That was super good. I like that one. It's a good one. Go ahead. Okay, now she is a rider, a motorcycle safety rider, training instructor. So there she is giving instruction. And I know she is patient. She is kind. She's tolerant. So if you were going to learn to ride like Laura Clock, I believe that she's in the same category. She has all it takes to get you where you need to go. And if you have to travel to go see her, look, there's one of her classes. They all got their certificates. Very happy campers. How cool is that? Ladies, you rock. That is awesome. Okay, and then we have some more pictures. And Dawn, you're doing a good job, babe. I still love you. That's her family. Can't imagine where she started riding motorcycles, right? I do believe that is the clan, the whole crew. And I don't know if I'm moving my finger the right way because sometimes I move my finger when I'm talking and Don wants me to move my finger when I want the pictures. And I can fudge that shit up like nobody's business. All right, there's the family. The family that plays together, stays together. Look at that. Motorcycles. That's the way it goes. All right, there she is. Are you okay? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. That's her and her partner. They're on the ride. We're going to talk about all these photos because, again, Don's messing me up. He's over there making faces, if you know. Look at her with her collection. Yeah, she likes motorcycles. She rides
all three of them like that?
She rides all three motorcycles. She gives them all a turn.
Nice.
Kind of be like having three boyfriends or girlfriends in 1 week. You know, you have to take turns, like Tuesday night this one, Monday night that one. All right, see, now we get some other pictures. Okay, now she has written for all kinds of magazines. She is a moto journalist. There's no doubt. She's an awesome photographer. She captures some fabulous pictures. That's for sure. Now look, and there she is. She's on the ground floor putting it all together. That's like the board when they put the magazine together. Those of you that are journalists know all about that stuff. It's like the room. Yes, she is a badass, Miss Ivy. I agree with you. And then there you go. There's one of her reviews. Picture, babe. The finger's going, babe. Now, see, and she even gets dirty and grungy and grimy, and she likes to wrench on motorcycles too. So that she's a woman after my own heart.
Oh, was that a finger?
That was a.
That
Boy,
was
you
a
better
hand.
stop with that. That was like a bunch of fingers, fingers.
Trigger finger.
Trigger finger. I'm gonna trigger finger your ass in a minute if you don't stop. You need to behave yourself. All right, there she is. Now, that is Miss Genevieve Schmidt, who she is part of my heart. I love that woman dearly. She did one of the first features on my motorcycle decades ago. So Tricia is now the editor. So Genevieve was the founder. We'll say that she was the founder. And there's Erin Sills, who is she's got a world record, land speed record. She has a motorcycle in the Smithsonian, Miss Tricia told me. And then Sarah Schilke, she is phenomenal too. Okay, Miss Genevieve Dreyer, I see you there. I love it. I'm glad that I say that again. Oh my God, Genevieve, that's you. I forgot you got married. See, you're so sweet. I love you. You are part of my heart. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. No crying. There's no crying in motorcycles. I'm so glad you're watching. I hope one day you'll be a guest on the show with me. I would love that. You are so phenomenal. Okay, so, and look at that pictures. Now, that was her and Miss Tricia on a trip. I know there's a picture in there too from Italy. They were in Italy. Yeah, that one. How cool. How awesome cool is that? Man, you guys got to go back. I want to go with you. That would be a trip to have you, Tricia and Genevieve. Boy, two characters. I love it. That is so cool. And I'm glad, Miss Genevieve, you'd love to, because I'm going to hold you to that. She's going to be a guest on the show. How exciting. Okay, let's continue on with the pictures, because I can't wait to get to our guest. Look at, now there's Miss Genevieve, the photographer and the moto journalist. There she is. Okay, and then the finger babe. There's Miss Tricia, the photographer, moto journalist. I love the cameras. I don't know how you guys do that. Like, especially, hands on the throttle. I guess cruise control, that's what they make that for. And yes, let's plan a trip. Hey, Gina. I love to see you there. Gina Marie Longo, nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We're excited about that. Okay, got another picture for me, babe? There she is with, again, that's Sarah Schilke and Erin Sills. Okay. How are we doing on photos? That is the end of the photos, babe. You got a couple more? That was it? Oh, you're so good. Oh, look, Miss Genevieve says Tricia and I were taking pictures of each other while riding, doing a tour of New Mexico. How cool is that? Man, and look at these beautiful ladies. Are they not gorgeous? That is so fantastic. It's good when you can take good-looking pictures and you can be good-looking in the pictures. Miss Tricia's got it going on. So, okay, then I can say I'm excited to have one of the most genuine and kind, adventurous women that I know, Miss Tricia. We're going to let her pronounce her last name for us so I do not massacre it one more time, and then we can all get it right. Okay, we're going to bring her in, babe. I'm excited. Let's bring her in. Yay, look at her. There she is.
Hello.
How are you?
All right, so it's I've grown up saying Szulewski. That's the way that I was taught to say it. However, I have met real Polish people in along the way, and if I was a real Polish person, I would probably say Szulewski. But even funnier than that, my gym teacher when I was a kid used to call me Suzuki. So go figure.
Go figure. That's funny. I don't see one of those in the backdrop. I do see. Oh yeah, there's a Suzuki. And then you got the Indian over there. What's in the middle?
Indian. And this is my BMW XR, the S1000 XR.
Ooh, that's the Go Fast. The Go Fast bike.
Yeah, they all go fast, Athena.
They all go fast? I love it.
They do.
Yeah. That's too funny. How have you been?
I've been pretty busy. Like you mentioned, I am a rider coach, and I juggle a lot of jobs. So rider coaching is what I do from April through October here in Connecticut, because then after that it gets too cold. Who wants to be out there riding a
Right.
motorcycle? So we're wrapping up our season now. So I'm just kind of busy. Like I've got to winterize all the motorcycles in the shed and just kind of get the last classes successfully through. So I've been busy
Super
with
cool.
that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, give them my congratulations when they all successfully make it through. Tell them I said,
I
yeehaw.
will.
That's awesome.
Better yet, send me some promotional cards and I'll hand them out to all of my students.
I'll do that. I will. I'll send them some
Yeah.
congratulations. Definitely. That would be,
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I love that. So
absolutely.
that
I'm
Indian
full.
behind you, are you doing
Yeah.
a review on that bike?
Yes, so that is the Indian Pursuit Icon. That's like the high-end Indian. So I know you're a Harley girl.
Mhm.
So this would be like the Road Glide Limited, in
Okay.
Indian's version of it. So I've been riding it for a couple of months now. This is a good one. They gave it to me and they don't need it back right away.
Right.
So I've been putting a lot of miles on it and using it for all different types of things. So I should have a good review ready to go probably in the next month or so on
All right.
womenridersnow.com.
And so, okay, let's talk about womenridersnow.com for a minute. So
Okay.
Genevieve was the founder.
Yes.
And you kind of happened along into that. I know we're going to talk about
Yeah.
that, the answers and the questions, how you really got into that.
Yeah.
But everyone can subscribe. They just go in, they subscribe to the newsletter. They can get all the information because you put out so much good stuff on there. I mean, you have so many topics. You have products, you have reviews on the motorcycles, you have helpful hints and ways for individuals, not just women. I mean, it's all for women, but it's good information for any rider on how to get started riding, things that you need to ride, where you can find, like I said, helmets and boots and things of that nature. And you actually try most of that stuff out that you promote.
I mean, that's a big part of what we do besides everything that you just said, is that we do reviews. We review a lot of this gear, and we're people that have been reviewing gear for years and years. So it's like, everybody wants to review some gear, but if you've only had one jacket, or like I was telling you earlier, like if you've only ridden Harleys, and that's not your experience, but the more experience that you have with a wide variety of stuff, like you have more perspective,
Right.
So I've been reviewing gear for 25 years and I've been able to see how women's gear in particular has come along in those years. Like when I hear people complaining about the lack of women's gear, it makes me cringe because, it was 15 or 20 years ago, there was none. We were wearing men's gear. And now we have so much variety to choose from. So we do a lot of reviewing.
So is there a product out there that you haven't yet had the opportunity to review that you absolutely would just love for somebody to send you?
I'm considering asking for one of those airbag vests because I know that's really like the latest technology that's come a long way in just the last few years. It's really like it, technology, the way it advances, it changes so quickly. And I haven't ever reviewed it. I don't really want to review it. Like I don't want it to go off.
Right. Of course. Right.
But yeah, I think that's probably the thing that I haven't reviewed yet that maybe I'd want to.
That's so cool because Don was just telling me the other day about airbag jeans. They're like literally jeans with airbags in them that they would deploy if something like that happened. So we're going to do some research and I'm going to see if I can get somebody to send you some good stuff like that because we want to know too.
That's okay. I've got plenty on my plate to review. I actually just got the latest Bluetooth technology from Cardo, which is now, if anybody who uses Bluetooth is going to be excited about this because and that's come a long way over the years too, but it's always been a little difficult to kind of get everybody synced.
Right.
And now this newest version that they've come out with, Cardo will sync with other brands. Like, so now the brands are speaking the same language,
Oh,
finally.
how cool.
Yeah.
My
So
son has an issue with that. Every time him and all his buddies go riding, that's their biggest thing, is the sync thing.
yeah, it's gotten a lot better in the last few years with mesh technology, but and I won't even go into it all, but it gets better every year. Every
That's
month
cool.
it gets better, it seems like.
Will we see the review on that on the upcoming Women Riders Now? When are we
Yes.
expecting that? Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta install it and use it, so give me some time.
I love it. That's awesome. And so, do you travel outside of your area to go ride and test stuff throughout the rest of the year, where you go like Arizona where it's warmer? Or do you just kind of have to do other stuff while it's cold? Because I wondered that. That's not for anybody else.
Okay.
But.
That's a good question. So, like for a bike that they will deliver to me, like, no, I'll plan to take trips to use it, and I'll use it like I would use my own bike. But a lot of time, I mean, the coolest things are when we're invited to new motorcycle press intros. Like, that's
Okay.
where they will fly you out to wherever they're doing this press intro. And what they do is they have a whole fleet of the new bike, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And they bring all the journalists into this location. They give you a presentation on the motorcycle, and then we all ride them. And it's always in a beautiful place with the type of road that they want, that the bike is suited for, right?
Okay.
So I've been to California more times than I can count, because a lot of the OEMs are original equipment manufacturers are in California. That's where they have their press fleets. So a lot of times it's out there, but sometimes it's in other countries. I really haven't been fortunate enough to get invited to those intros. Not yet, but we'll see.
Soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're on the way. I am sure they are on the way. They have to be, because you are absolutely one of the top. You're one of the top moto journalists out there. So, I mean, everybody enjoys reading what you write. I do. I love it. I think it's super cool. And I love the Chicks on 66 thing, the way you did it with the cars, it kind of with Cars movie. It was so cool because it's relatable, even to someone who doesn't ride, you still put it out there to where it not only do people understand it, but they're intrigued by it. That's the coolest part about reading everything that you do. And I mean, personally, for me, I'm sure everybody else, has their own perspective. But for me, I'm always intrigued and I'm always inspired by it. Like I'm like, okay, wow. And it makes you, it gives you a little fire under your ass to like be interested to go. I mean, like we were talking earlier, I'm already ready to go do other stuff that I wouldn't normally do because you lit a fire under my ass, which is cool. Right. I like that. And that's what it is. So, okay. So I want to ask some questions, but first I want to make sure that you have time to promote whatever it is you got coming up in the future.
Well, like I'm always working on womenridersnow.com. So that's a website anybody can go to. So our tagline is actually for women who ride and those who ride with them, because like you said, it's not just for women. Yeah, we focus the gear reviews on what women wear, but everything else you don't have to be a man or a woman to ride a motorcycle,
Yeah, they're not gender specific.
Right. Or to know how to do maintenance on your bike, or to do riding tips. Like that's for everybody. And I think the nice thing about, and I'm going off on a tangent a little bit, but the one thing about the way that we write the reviews, we're less technical than some of the other motorcycle pubs. Like they get really into the engineering of everything. And for our audience, we're like, just tell me, how does it ride? Is it easy to handle? What colors does it come in? How much does it cost? Like the things that I would ask when I go into a dealership.
Right.
So they're more kind of real world, easier to understand sometimes.
Yeah, Miss Genevieve used to scold me. I wrote a few tech articles way back in the day, and she'd be like, "You're too technical. Stop being so technical." Are they? That's so cool. I love her. But and it was the same thing. She's like, "We want our readers to be able to understand what you're writing. You understand it as a mechanic, but you need to parlay it to the people in layman's terms so they understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
And it changed
Right.
the way that I my perspective of how I look at things and how I write things now when I put things
Mhm.
out in the world. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
helpful to me. So that is super cool. I love that you got all that going on. You got to tell
Oh,
me about
and
the kitty.
one more thing,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
No, no.
You don't have to subscribe to our newsletter, but we
Mm,
encourage you to. I mean, the newsletter comes out about once a month, and it is basically it's just informing you on what's new on the website. So and we don't sell our list to anybody. By signing up for it, you're not going to get a whole bunch of spam mails. You're going to get
Okay.
our newsletter, and that's it. One thing that we're working on now for November is what we call a hot flash. You'll
You
appreciate
get lots of those. You saw me earlier, right?
So the hot flash, which we haven't done one in a while, is we will ask our friends and our advertisers for some special exclusive deals that we can pass on to our readers and our subscribers. So if you subscribe, you'll get some access to some exclusive deals that we're working on.
Very cool. I am subscribed to the newsletter, but I also have it bookmarked. Like you said, the page, you can go to the page anytime. But,
Sure.
you know,
Yep.
it's always good to get the updates, the
Yeah.
good stuff. Yes.
Yep.
And that's cool. Hot flash. Okay, ladies, we get it. It'd be nice to get a different kind of hot flash. So I'm all for that for sure. Definitely. All right. What are the kitties' names?
Oh, that's so they came with their names, so we didn't name them. So that's Tupi and Pierre. And Pierre is my lover boy. He's my love.
Tupi.
Yeah,
Tupi and
Tupi
Pierre.
stands for Tupelo.
Okay.
She's the tortoiseshell, and
Okay.
Pierre is my orange boy. I never knew how much I was going to love orange kitties until he came into my life. I love him.
Okay. Yeah, my son is mad because I named him after an orange cat that I had. It was kind of crazy. The cat's name was Axel. It seemed fitting. So, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. My daughter's named after my favorite horse. So I guess, you know, they win. They both win. So that's too funny. Okay. And then your partner's name. I have a picture of it too. You on your motorcycle.
So you said like the Indian, the picture of the Indian, that was just taken yesterday. It was yesterday was Sunday, right? And that's my daughter. I got to take my daughter for a ride.
That's your daughter?
Yeah, she's 22 now, and her name is Kaya. And
Okay.
she never really cared to learn how to ride, but she likes being a passenger every now and then.
You have a 22-year-old daughter. You do not look old enough to
Yeah.
have a 22-year-old daughter. I think
Thank
it's in
you.
the next reel over there. No, that's her, Miss Genevieve. Hold on, I'm getting Dawn through the photos here. Is that you and your daughter at the dartboard also?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that
Yep.
one. See, now you can see the family resemblance. I was like, oh, okay, wow. And she's 22.
She's not in that picture, but she is now. Yeah, she's 22. She graduated from college, and she's got a great job, and she's doing well.
Nice. What's
Yeah.
she doing?
This kid impresses me so much. She got a double major she went to Bentley University up near Boston.
Nice.
And so she's got a marketing degree, and she majored in sustainability science. So she's working at a company that will work to convert your building, or if it's new construction, they'll design the energy system so that it's green energy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Cool.
she
That's
gets
our
to
future.
kind of combine what she's doing because she's working in the marketing department.
That is so cool too, because that's our future. Things have to, you know, the kids are the ones that are going to take over and, you know, make sure that it keeps going on to their kids and their kids and their kids. And it's, you know, we pass it on to them. And if we'd have known, I think a lot of us would have taken better care. But, you know, you learn as you go. It's not
Yeah.
It's like parenting. It's the same thing. You're like, okay, what do I do? And then you just kind of find out. So
hope for the best.
All right. That's it. So you ready for some questions?
Sure.
All right. So we're going to do just for fun questions to start.
Okay.
So I got to ask this one. Dogs or cats?
All right. So we know cats. I love the dogs too, but I don't want to own one.
No. How come? Because they require more maintenance, huh?
More maintenance. It's kind of like I think of dogs as having a 3-year-old like forever. You know,
Okay.
you have to get home at a certain time
Mhm.
to let them go out, and you can't just leave for a couple days like you can with
Right.
cats.
Cats, yeah, the cats will roam in and out and do whatever too. So
Yeah,
all your cats have their claws then.
they do. Yeah, but
Okay.
they're not outdoor cats. They come out onto the deck like in that picture, but that's it. But they're
Okay.
easy to have. You have somebody come over, scoop the litter, put some
Yeah.
food in the bowl,
Food
and
and
that's
water.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't come back and they didn't eat the whole house, right?
Right.
Chew it
Exactly.
all up. Apples or oranges?
Bananas.
I like bananas. Okay. All right. And Miss Ivy, she's like exactly a 3-year-old forever. She gets it. She knows. That is too
Mm.
funny. Okay. Hotel or camping?
I struggled with this one because I like both, you know. So I guess it depends on the trip, you know. If it's something like I need to stay at a hotel because I'm teaching someplace that's an hour and 40 minutes away, which is what I do, I'll stay in a hotel. I
Okay.
tried camping. It's like I need that time to relax and be pampered a little bit.
Yeah. Because
So,
you're
but I
working.
like camping too. I have a whole here, I'll move my screen. I have a whole that whole black thing, that black cabinet right there is all camping equipment.
It's all camping equipment. I love it.
Yeah.
Miss Ivy goes camping. Miss Boots goes camping. They're just like, I used to camp with my parents in like that picture they showed in the beginning. To my dad, camping was a van, and you know there was a way to sleep in the van, but you opened the door and you threw a sterno log on the little barbecue pit. That was
Uh-huh.
camping for my hippie
Okay.
parents. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
there's definitely different ways to camp for sure.
yeah. And I've tented a few times. Don and I went to Leesburg one time, and we didn't realize until we got there that when we purchased our tent, it was a child tent.
Oh.
So yeah. Then we woke up, everybody was laughing at us because our feet were hanging out of the bottom of the tent. It didn't really
Oh,
matter. At least it was
yeah.
dry. Yeah, and the ladies got a kick out. They saw him stand up like 6'4". They're like, "Did you see that big tall guy get out of that tiny little tent?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I saw that."
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
it was a
funny.
spectacle.
It was more than a spectacle for sure. So slow, fast, or faster?
Faster. Yeah,
Faster.
faster.
That's why all those bikes are fast, right?
That
All of them.
every motorcycle's fast. It's all how you
If
ride it.
It's all how you ride it, right? I was gonna say if you ride them like that, that is too funny. So, sunshine or moonshine for you?
Sunshine for sure. Yeah. As you know, I had to nap to stay up
Say
this
stay
late.
up. You're so good. I love it. A lot of people would say, "Oh my goodness, I can't watch your show. I have to stay up till 10 o'clock." And I'm like, well, the best part is you go back to YouTube or the Facebook channel and you can watch
Mhm.
it anytime you want. And they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that's so cool." So that's
yeah.
cool. I wish I could get some sleep. I don't seem to sleep very much. I don't know
Mm.
why, but
It's
I
part of
think it's
that.
because I'm always, yeah, it's that thing.
Part of
The
that
hot
thing.
flashes
Hot
and
flash,
oh
the
my
menopause.
goodness.
And you know what? Why do they call it menopause now that
I
you
don't
bring that
know.
up?
I
We
have no
should call
idea
it
because
menopause, right?
it should be something, but not menopause because my libido is off the chart. Like poor Don, he runs from me. He's like,
Oh,
oh
wow.
yeah,
Good
oh
for
yeah.
you.
And well, yeah, and I mean, he married me because I was a nympho, and I don't think that he knew that it was going to get into that. Everybody makes jokes about it in our circle. It's kind of funny. No, you don't run. I know you don't. You run toward me, babe, not away from me. So, what's your absolute favorite song?
Okay, so I had to think about this a little bit. It's Carrie Underwood's version of How Great Thou Art. How Great Thou Art. Whenever I hear that, I can't hold the tears back. I love that song.
That is awesome. That's a really good song too, and she's a fantastic artist.
Mhm.
Absolutely, and she's the Sunday Night Football girl too. I love that.
Yeah.
She gets out there in her dress and she does, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hank Williams used to do it, and I'm like, no, this is way better, way better.
Yeah, I
Come
love
a
it.
long way. Not that I don't like Hank Williams Jr. I love him too, but Carrie Underwood looks way better on the stage doing it and
Mhm.
sounds a little better for me. So, all right. So, what would be your absolute favorite road food?
I for this, I'm gonna say Luna bars only because it's not super exciting, but like if you're on the road, like we were for that Chicks ride, and
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, when I was hanging with the vintage riders the first like 3 days, they didn't stop for lunch. And I'm like, listen, I gotta eat. So
Right.
on those days where there's no lunch involved, I can eat a Luna bar and that'll hold me for a good long time.
And what exactly is a Luna bar?
Oh, it's, you know, one of those energy bars, but it's just got some substance to it. That's just the brand name of it.
Is there
You've never seen
flavors?
that? Yeah, there's
None.
flavors. I like the berry flavors.
I was gonna say, what's your
They're kind
favorite
of
flavor?
thick and chewy. They're not like,
Oh,
I mean, I like
okay.
granola bars too, but these are like sort of a little more. Oh, you know what? They're not called Luna bars. They're called RX bars. Those are the ones that I like.
Okay, RX bars. I'll have to look
RX.
for that. That's
Yeah.
like Don eats those Nutrigrain bars and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
things of that
Hard
nature.
tack.
For
Yeah.
he calls it hardtack. That's what he calls it. From the Civil War.
Well,
Boy,
some
howdy.
are better than others. I mean, some of them are really have bad stuff in it, you know. But this one that I stock in my bag, like it's one of the healthier ones.
Miss Ivy says eating trail mix on the side of the road at Route 66. Yeah, we did some of that too, for sure.
Yeah.
We ate a lot of things on the side of the road. I think at some points waiting to do things, and that was an experience of epic proportion. That is for sure. Okay, so if you were a cocktail, what would you be?
I would be a Long Island iced tea. And the reason is I did grow up on Long Island. I tried to lose the accent though, but I can still bring it back. And the reason why is because it's made up a lot of strong stuff, but it gets the job done. So that kind of describes the type of person that I am.
Okay, I'll go with that. There's a little sweet in there too.
Okay.
Sweet.
If you say so.
I like Long Island iced teas. I'm not allowed to have them, but I like them.
But like one and done. You don't want to have more than one.
Yeah, I'm a 2-drink drunk. And so half of one and I'm done.
Yeah.
For
Oh
me,
yeah, for me too.
There's a lot in there.
There's like 5 different liquors in that, I think, right?
Yes, ma'am. They pour it all in there, put a splash of Coke, and off you go. It's like, righty then. That is too cool. Okay, so we're going to get into some serious questions here.
Okay.
How long have you been riding?
I have been riding. It will be 29 years this spring.
29 years this
29 years, yeah.
So how'd you get into motorcycles?
Well, you showed the picture of my family, so that's kind of the clue. When I was a kid, my Uncle Paul rode Harleys, and he was kind of a rough dude, and he hung with a rough crowd. And I always found the crowd kind of scary, but intriguing at the same time. So I was always, he was always wrenching on his Harley in the garage. So Uncle Paul's the one all the way to the right in that picture.
The white shirt.
And then his wife, my Aunt Tina, started riding. And then my dad, the next one over, got a motorcycle when I was about 13 or so. Nice. And then that's my wife, Mary, next one over. And she rides too. She's a great rider. This is her Suzuki, actually.
Okay.
So I kind of always grew up around them, and I always wanted to ride, and I loved, riding on the back until I was able to take a class and learn. My dad offered to teach me how to ride, and I said, no, thanks. I'll take the class.
You'll take the class. That's too funny. Yeah, I learned the hard way. I did. So, babe, can you go back to that picture of the two of them on that motorcycle? Go back to, you were on the back of a motorcycle. It was a racing bike.
Oh, yeah. That was Femmoto.
Femmoto?
Femmoto, it was called, and that's one of your questions coming up is what's your favorite event? Well, and all of us women moto journalists talk about Femmoto because it was such a cool event. And it went on for about 5 years or so. And what it was all the manufacturers brought their demo fleets for women. It was a women's event, and we got to demo them on the track. So this was in Las Vegas in 2007, I think it was. Was it 2007?
Okay.
I think that's when it was. That was the
last. Were you riding on the back or the front?
Yeah. So this guy is a pro racer, and he was giving people rides on the back. And Oh my God, we did one lap and I was like, I'm good. Like that was an experience. So what you have to do is you put one hand around their stomach to hold on when they accelerate fast, and the other hand goes on the tank because they brake hard too when they're going, that's how it is out there. So, and and there's no sissy bar or anything. So I was just hanging on for dear life. It was freaking scary, but it was a cool experience.
That is awesome. And when you were, because it's always hard when you have your own control on your own motorcycle and you get on the back of somebody's motorcycle like that. Was there any one thing that you learned from being in that precarious position that you use now?
I don't know, because I mean, he was really like going I feel like he was going as fast as he could around the track, but I'm sure he could go faster. But what I learned from that and from taking some classes on the track was about, proper cornering and proper braking as you're getting into turns, setting up, choosing the right lines. So that was kind of my introduction to riding on a track.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
And some of that you parlay into what you teach in your riding course?
No,
I mean,
I do not teach any
not
of
at
them
all.
in my beginning rider courses. No.
Right. No, I mean, but is there like things that it made you realize that, when you're instructing, you may want to let them know that you don't go that far over the edge, or you don't go that far over here.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, we do talk about that. And I always bring up there's other opportunities to learn. It's not don't just take the BRC, the MSF BRC and be done with it. You can learn so much, even if you have no intention of being like a track day rider. There's so much that you can learn in the safety of taking a class on the track where there's no other, everybody's going the same direction. We're not passing. You're just learning techniques on how to better control your motorcycle.
Nice. I like that. That is very cool. All right. So my next question is, how did you get your start as a moto journalist?
I kind of got really lucky, to be honest with you. So I went to college for graphic design. I'm a trained designer. And I worked as an art director for a trade magazine publisher here in Connecticut for a little while, and I got a little bored. It was, fashion magazines and some it was all trade stuff. So I answered a newspaper ad. This was like back when we looked for jobs in newspapers.
Oh, gee, old school. Right? That's right.
That's how old I am. So so I went for a job interview for this publisher in Stamford, Connecticut. And I look at the billboard, as I'm getting on the elevator, and it's all these motorcycle magazines, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really cool. So I got the job, and so my job was putting the magazine together, coordinating with the photographers and the editors, and doing the layouts of the magazine. But because I was also a rider, an enthusiast, I had a motorcycle, I was given the opportunity, because it was a small kind of mom and pop operation.
Okay.
I was given the opportunity to write some articles. So I started with like simple bolt-ons. I think one of my first articles was I bolted a windshield onto my Honda Shadow, and I took the pictures and I wrote the captions and I submitted it. So that's how I started. And then just after that, I started doing more reviews and other tech stories, and I just got better because I was doing it over and over again.
What publication? What was that?
What was that?
What was the name of the company?
The publication. Oh, I'm sorry. The name of the company was TAM Communications, TAM, and they were the publisher of American Iron magazine. That was the big flagship magazine, but I mostly worked on, it was called Road Bike magazine.
Yeah.
It started as something else, and then my boss kept renaming it over the years, but
hey, that works.
Now it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I know a lot of the print has gone away.
Yeah. But like you showed the picture, I mean, that was an example of some of the magazines that I worked on when I was there.
Yeah. And I know Buzz Cantor like for a long time, but
Mhm.
he, with American Iron and Miss Genevieve, she had actually wrote the article on my pink bike. But yeah, and they did have a lot of publications, and that's really cool that you got to participate in. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Show that one, baby. Yeah, show that. And show the
Yep.
one in the room where she's putting the magazines together. I love that shot. The next one.
Yeah, I wish I took more pictures of the actual putting together of the magazine, but this was what we called preview. Like, so before the magazine shipped to the printer, we would put all the pages on the wall so we could see how it laid out. And sometimes we'd move things around, like if there was a editorial piece next to an advertiser where they were competing, we'd move that. And it was a good way to just kind of see it one last time before it was gone and in print. We're spoiled now with websites. We can go in there and make a change anytime. So this was back in the day where you had to be really accountable for the words that went up, in print.
My wonderful geeky husband who was on the yearbook class, he's like, you put it to bed. Okay, put it to bed. Babe, you're showing your age over there.
So yeah, that's Buzz there in the orange.
It is. I was wondering that because he looks the same. The back of his head still looks the same today. And he's got a we call it an inn in Vermont.
Yeah.
He owns an inn. I'm excited. I can't wait to go up there. I really want to go see him. It looks phenomenal in the pictures. Vermont. I never thought I'd ever know anybody that lived in Vermont, but
And now's the time. It's actually a little bit past peak now, but like Vermont in autumn is the place to be.
That's what they say. It's so colorful. Mm-hmm. And then after that, everything just goes white, right? How that goes.
It goes brown actually before we get the white. Last year we hardly got any snow, so it was just brown. It's all the trees have no leaves on them, so they're just sticks, and the leaves that fell are on the ground. So it's not super pretty until the snow comes. Then once the snow comes, if it sticks, then it's just beautiful.
Gotcha. I'd love to experience some of that because I'm a Florida girl. I've been here most of my life. Heisenberg 0327. Hello. I see you. Looks like Angel. It probably is Angel. That's too funny. Okay. So tell me your absolute favorite rides, your favorite motorcycle ride, and your favorite routes to ride.
So this was a hard one because I've been so fortunate to be in so many different places. But I mean, obviously that Chicks on 66 ride was special. That was a really special ride. And I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy it really until I got there and I experienced it. Because my type of road is a curvy mountain road. And we had one day where we had that mountain to get through. That was a good day. Oatman, California.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, White Knuckles. That was big ultra classical hill. And you did it on that big road glide. And I was just like, but again, being an instructor and where you live, you have the opportunities to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I like. Those are the types of roads that I like. So one of my favorite roads in America is the Beartooth Highway. That's up, I did that once. I was visiting Genevieve actually in Montana, and she's not too far from that. It's gorgeous. It's just a beautiful ride with the vista's incredible. You're riding on the edge of a cliff. There's guardrails now. I don't know. That was a pretty epic ride. So I just wanted to also mention that on womenridersnow.com, if you search for bucket list rides, Genevieve and I kind of partnered on the two stories. I did bucket list rides of the East, and she did bucket list rides of the West.
How cool.
So it's kind of cool. I mean, it still gets a lot of hits because it's what roads do you want to go to when you're on the East Coast? What roads do you want to go when you're on the West? So
and that's why I always ask everybody. I ask them what their favorite is so that the guests who watch and the viewers who watch, they can actually, look it up and say, oh, wow, I want to go there. Or so-and-so said this was a perfect place. And it kind of gives them a destination to shoot for. Yeah. So I love that. That is cool. I'm going to read that one bucket
Okay.
list rides. That's for sure.
Bucket
I'm
list.
gonna look
Yeah,
that up when I get home.
there's 2 different stories, so just search for bucket
I'm
list.
gonna read 'em
Actually,
both.
I'll pop it on the homepage so it's easier to find. I'll put
That
it
would
in
be cool.
the editor's picks section.
Nice. That makes me feel special. Hear that, everybody? She's gonna put it up there for us so we can see the bucket list rides of both sides, east and west. That's
Yeah.
got to be a good one, I'm sure. All right. So, what's your favorite rally or event, or both?
So the Femoto was epic. I wish that would come back or something like that. But besides that, I kind of like the smaller events. Like I did Daytona this past year for the first time. That was not really my speed. I'm
That was
more
your
of a
first
small-
time?
That was my first time at Daytona.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I was a
Wow.
Daytona virgin. So I've done Sturgis once too. I'm not really into the big giant motorcycle events. I like the smaller ones. So I was going to mention Babes Ride Out East because that's it's getting bigger, but it's a smaller type of event.
So they have east now. I thought it was in the
Yeah.
west to start.
It
Or is it both
originated
now?
in the West, and they have several out there now, and they've got Babes in the Dirt now. So they've really expanded because there's a draw for that.
That is so cool.
A lot of younger women are getting into motorcycling and doing
Yes.
these women's camping type events like this. So
Yeah, I want to do that.
it's not far from me, so it only takes me about an hour and a half or 2 hours to get there. It's on the edge of like Port Jervis, New York, the Delaware River. They always camp out along the Delaware River.
Wow. I'm going to look into that because I definitely when I saw the Babes Ride Out West and for me, I do motorcycle shows and I have to be at certain events and stuff. So some things don't correlate to where I can get to them. But there's so many on my list that I want to just take 1 year off from doing shows and things of that nature and just go ride the hell around and just do it. Yeah. And I do want to see Niagara Falls. Miss Ivy sent me a postcard. It was so special because she sent it to me from the American side. And I guess she'd had this postcard for a while. And I always send her little notes. I mail her little notes. She's like my pen pal. And she sent me, I just got it last week, this one. And Niagara Falls is so beautiful. It is so gorgeous up in that area, just everything, even like in Connecticut where where you are and stuff. Miss Shadow in New Jersey, we went to see her. Just captivating, epic scenery. It was just like, wow. Because in Florida here, everything's flat. Yeah. You either get palm trees or pine trees. That's it. Those are your options. Yeah. You get alligators in the muck and then crocodiles in the salt water. So we don't have a lot of choices.
Which is a nice vacation spot for somebody who lives in the Northeast and they want to go someplace warm for a while.
Yeah. And I wish I would have known.
Niagara Falls, I used to live up there when I was a kid. And let me tell you this, like it's a place to visit in the winter too. You might not think, but like it's beautiful when there's ice on the water. I mean, obviously the falls themselves don't ice over, but the water that's leading to the falls gets kind of icy, and at night they shine lights on the falls. It's really it's beautiful even in the winter time.
That is so neat. I'm definitely that's on my list of things that Don and I still haven't had a honeymoon, so we're gonna figure that out. Sometimes they do, Miss Ivy says. So I didn't know it was your first Daytona. I'm bummed out that you're a Daytona virgin because I would have shown you the real cool stuff. Like not all that.
June was my Daytona buddy. I think June's on here too. Hi, June.
Hi, June. I love June. I'm so glad she recovered so well.
Yes, she's doing good. She's getting there. She's on her way. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, you and her were you two palled up and kind of went all over the place and did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she kind of showed me the ropes. And I'm very grateful for that.
You went and saw family too over in the Villages while you were there.
Yes, I wanted to see the Villages, and it was something to see.
It was something to see, wasn't it? Florida's always something to see. If you don't like it, you can wait 5 minutes; it'll all change because that's how it goes for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed tooling around in those golf carts. I mean, you could get into customizing golf carts. I mean, everybody's got like their own kind of flair to their golf cart over there. But they could be like customized. Like they're just like putting sparkles and stuff on them. But you
That's
know how
over there. You should be over here on the East Coast.
Uh-huh.
They got 4-wheel drives. They got them with the big screen TVs, the Rockford stereos, the custom seats, and suspension.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, we do that over here. On the that side of the state is more they're a little on the older, slower roll side. I won't say they're older, but they don't have as much pizzazz. Like over here, we're still out in the mud. These fools will bury them in the mud and then go get their mud truck to tow them out and get the mud truck stuck and then get the. It's like that on the East Coast of Florida. We're a little nuttier. I guess that's the way to say it. We're a little crazier. They're not so nuts over there.
All right, I got you.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. Okay, so what's the most fun you've ever had on a motorcycle?
Oh, the most fun I have ever had. Oh, okay. So I have to refer to my sheet.
Notes. I love it.
All right. So I included a picture of me on the Breakout, the Harley Breakout, because that was the press launch in 2018. Harley Davidson got rid of the Dynas, what were formerly known as the Dynas, and they made them all Softails. They redesigned the chassis, and so you remember that? A lot of people are upset. Everybody gets upset when Harley changes something. But so for that press launch, they had all of the Softails, and I got to ride all of them. We all rotated, our time to make sure that we got on every one of them, and I've reviewed them all on Women Riders Now, so you could still find that.
Is it the silver one? Don's trying to find the picture.
It's I don't remember what color it was, but it's got a big fat rear tire, skinny front tire, and it's kind of raked down a little bit. So because of that bike's geometry, it's probably the most ill handling Softail of the whole group anyway.
Yes.
Hard to corner and get it just wants to go straight. You got to really work to get it
there. You got to manhandle it. Yeah.
So that was the last. Yeah, that's it. That was the last one that I rode. I was kind of like avoiding that one a little bit, but now we moto journalists have been riding the hell out of these bikes for 2 days, and we're like, it's like the horse sees the barn, right? So everybody is riding like nutso. And these moto journalists are like some of the best riders in the world. Like I think that's part of what has helped me become a really good rider, is riding with some of the best riders in the world. We'll do that. So I'm just riding like a bat out of hell on this bike that's really hard to ride, and I was keeping up. And I remember when we got back, Jeff Buchanan, who's like one of my favorite moto journalists, he writes a lot for Roadrunner magazine these days.
Yep.
He came up to me and he's like, "How were you keeping up on that motorcycle?" He was really impressed, and it made me feel good. Like I'm good. I'm there. So that was one of my favorite memories, because it was just like I got accolades, but from somebody who I really,
you admire, right?
Yeah.
That is super cool. So on the flip side, this wasn't in the questions. What's the worst experience you've ever had on a motorcycle?
Probably the time that I was. The first thing that came to my mind was when I was testing a Benelli. This was years ago, not the Benellis that they have now. I got like maybe 5 miles down the road, and it just crapped out on me. I think I stopped to get gas and it wouldn't start again. So I was like, well, that's my time to review this bike. I mean, maybe that's not the worst. Like, I guess, I've been in crashes, so maybe that's the worst. I remember being stranded with that Benelli, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to review this bike.
That's funny. And is that what's your craziest roadside breakdown memory?
Oh, this one I'm a little embarrassed about, but I'll tell it anyway, because it's been out there before. So for the Harley's 100th anniversary, this was now 20 years ago, TAM Communications did a ride from Connecticut to Milwaukee, and Buzz was leading the ride on his, I think it was on his 46. What's that? A Panhead 46?
Is Knucklehead? Yeah.
Knucklehead. He was riding his 46 Knucklehead. So, those bikes aren't meant to go fast. So he's
Right.
leading this ride of 100 or 200 at times riders going 55 miles an hour. So we're all just like in the back there, like rolling our eyes, like, oh my gosh, 3 days it took us to get to Milwaukee. Well, the first day at the first I think it was the first gas stop. Everybody's pulling up to it was kind of chaotic because there's a lot of bikes and only so many gas pumps. So I saw an opening and I zipped up to it on the Harley press bike that I was riding.
Right.
And I'm like going to fill it up and the nozzle's not really fitting in the hole. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong? This bike is a piece of crap, right? So you know where I'm going with this now?
Yeah.
I filled that tank up and I moved my bike over to the side, and then some guy pulled up behind me, did the same thing. And now his bike starts smoking and doing all this stuff. And so we're all like, well, what happened to him? And so they were like, oh, he put diesel in his gas tank.
Diesel in his gas, right.
Uh-oh. So I had to go to Buzz and Chris, the editor. And
Chris Maida.
Chris Maida.
Love Chris.
And thank God Chris knows what he's doing around a motorcycle. So they drained the tank before I ever started it up. So I was
so
saved.
awesome.
But that was embarrassing and probably not my best moment.
No, but you're around one of the best people to have that moment with. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Chris Maida he's incredible. I mean, Buzz is incredible too, but like I love Chris. He's just always, he's somebody I always bounce things off of, ideas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always been very, very honest about how he feels about things in the most genuine way. Not ever pissy or negative, but always genuinely, will shoot it straight. No bullshit.
Yeah.
Give it to you the way it is.
He was a great guy to work with. He really he's one of those guys everybody likes. Chris, he was good to everybody.
Definitely. Okay, so now we're gonna get on to who is your childhood hero?
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah. I was daddy's little girl, and I looked up to him and spent as much time as I could with him as a little kid. And then I grew into a teenager and I was a brat and a jerk, and that's what happens.
That's what happens.
But we're good. We're good now. Like, he lives about an hour and 15 minutes away, and we get together and do rides together, and he's still my hero.
Around teenage years?
Yeah. Teenage years. Don and I always talk about that.
Yeah.
You make it through the teenage years, you're okay. And then you can have a real relationship. Kids learn to respect being an adult and understand why you are the way you are, but not until they become an adult.
Yep. That's right.
Oh, no, we're not going there. Over there. So, okay, who's your motorcycle hero?
So my motorcycle hero is Genevieve Schmidt. So hopefully she's still on. But yeah, she's been my moto hero since before I knew her. The reason why Women Riders Now is what it is because she was the woman in motorcycle media. I mean, she started out in front of a camera. I don't know if you know her history, but she then took over Asphalt Angels magazine, which was Harley Woman, I think. And then that became Woman Rider magazine.
Right.
And so that's when I started reading her stuff. Like, she was the editor of Women Rider. And then that magazine went away after only, I think, 3 years. And because that publisher said there's no market for this. So she, being the smart, incredibly foresighted person that she is, knew that there was a market for it. And this was back in early 2000s. And she took the money that she got from that, and she started the website. So she took and she bought all of her materials back too. So that's how Women Riders Now got started, with all of her material that she had accumulated over the years of doing motojournalist stuff.
Yeah. And there were very few. I mean, there was Chris Summer Simmons and Joe, her partner, and Genevieve, and there weren't a lot of others that come to mind that were in it and as involved as they were, for
Right.
definite. That was the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's one of my heroes too, for sure.
Mhm.
I always looked up to her. And then one day she was like, oh, her parents were down here in South Florida. She showed up at my shop one day and I almost fell over. I was like, oh my God, and then we became fast friends from there. She's just an amazing human being. So I get
Yeah.
it. So
I mean,
who's
I
your
don't know
industry hero? Oh,
well,
go ahead.
same answer. I mean,
Same
she's
answer?
my industry hero. But if you've ever heard her speak at
Mhm.
an event, I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
she talk about motivating people
Yes.
to be the best person that they can be. I mean, she just has a way of speaking that I really envy and would love to be able to deliver a speech the way that she can.
Can you put that up there,
Yeah.
babe? Jan Schmidt is commenting. She says, Genevieve, trailblazer and diamond in the rough when we needed her effort the most. See, I
Mm,
mean, and that's
yeah.
pretty much, we've all had the opportunity to do things because of a lot of the things that she set out there for us.
Right.
That's
Yep.
definite, without a doubt. And I
Mhm.
mean, it was almost how do they say that, faux pas that women would be out there riding. I mean, I know how it was for me in the 80s and the 90s riding motorcycles and how difficult it was. And she put a whole different spin on, you can be feminine, you can ride a motorcycle, you can pretty much have it all. Like you said, when you hear her speak, she inspires you and motivates you to get up off your ass and go do it. Don't talk
Right.
about it, don't just think about it, but get up and do it.
Right.
In
Yeah.
the kindest, coolest way too, because here's this little petite woman, and I've seen her, like, no BS, for real, take the biggest motorcycle on the block and handle it better than anybody you see out there riding. And I was just like, wow, because we've done a lot of Harley rides together, and stuff like that. And yeah, she's no bullshit. She's the real deal,
Yeah.
with class and grace and just so
That's
much
it.
dignity. Yeah,
That's it.
she is. I love that. That's that makes my heart so happy, because I do love her dearly. I mean, I love you dearly too, just so you know. You are fantastic. I always love your bright smile. And we didn't get a chance to drink that bottle of Patron on Chicks on 66. I don't know where it went. I know we carried it around for a while.
We
just
did.
never got
I'm not
to it.
sure where it ended up.
I think Jason ended up with it in the van. He probably sucked it down,
That's
him and
okay. Those
Jose.
guys kind of deserved. They deserved it.
And all those 40 women, they deserve more than just a bottle of Patron. Oh, that was so funny. So, okay, let's have your most cherished motorcycle memory.
Oh, so this one is kind of personal, but I'll put it out there anyway, because that's what
Okay.
this is all about,
That's
right?
what it is, getting to know
So
you.
my most cherished motorcycle memory is the first time that I took my now wife Mary for a ride.
Okay.
It was obviously we weren't together at the time. I had gone out to see her play. She was a singer, so I went out to one of her band's gigs, and I was riding this Victory Vegas that was that we had in the office. And when she was done with the gig, we were talking a little bit because we had known each other through mutual friends. And she asked me for a ride, and I had a big time crush on her. So I said, yes, of course, I'll take you for a ride. So we went for a ride, and it was like, I mean, when you know, like
Right.
I just felt the energy, and the rest is history.
You knew it was destined to be. That is so cool. I love that. That's got to be one of my best so far of most cherished motorcycle memories on this show. I love that. That is very cool. So then, what's your most cherished moto journalist memory?
You know what? I couldn't think of one for that. I mean, probably one of the coolest things when I tell people about this, they're like, "Oh, that's really wicked cool." So, I went on a Pirelli tire launch in Italy. So I have gone overseas, but it wasn't to ride a motorcycle. It was to test a tire. So obviously I was riding motorcycles in Italy.
I was going to say, how else do you test the tire, right?
But it was hosted by Pirelli.
Wow.
So they brought us to, I couldn't even tell you the name of the little teeny town that we were in Italy, but it was in the boot heel section. Like that's the part of Italy nobody goes to because there's really nothing there But there happens to be a test track there for Porsche and Pirelli and whoever else rents it out.
Okay.
We had to put little tape over our phone cameras and stuff because we weren't allowed to take any pictures in there. It was all like
neat.
top secret stuff. But the cool thing about that launch was they also took us to the naval aircraft carrier for a big photo shoot. So on the aircraft carrier, the deck of the aircraft carrier, first of all, it's not a surface that you really want to ride on because it's so rough. It's super rough.
It's like grip tape.
Yeah,
it's like industrial grip tape, right?
Exactly. But they have these jets of water to clean that surface. They're like super high powered jets. So they had these jets with the water in the background with the Pirelli flags. And all we did was we rode straight down the aircraft carrier. And then some of the guys were doing wheelies. I didn't do that, but it looked super cool. It was a really cool photo shoot.
That's neat.
And we were supposed to spend a night on the ship. And that would have been really cool because we had a little bunk there. But it got called out to service. So we ended up back at the same place where we were. But that was kind of a cool memory.
That's so neat. That's cool. That is very neat to test the tire like that. Now, I know there were a couple other topics that you would like to bring up and talk about. So, and I know you have your notes right there in front of you. So let's do it. Let's talk about it before I ask you my other questions.
Oh, you want me to just ask myself?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so I was thinking that it might be helpful to ask questions like what type of, these are the questions that I get all the time from my classes. Well, what kind of bike should I start on? Right? What kind of motorcycle should I get? No, probably most of the people watching already ride motorcycles, but I'd be interested to hear, like, what do they tell people when you hear that question?
I know what I tell people.
What do you tell people?
I tell people to go and get your license, take the course and get your license, and then go out and rent multiple different types of motorcycles. Spend a weekend renting a Ducati, a Harley, a Indian, well, it used to be Victory, but they're not around anymore, and find out what model and what make works best for you. It's insured when you rent it. You don't have to repair it if you drop it and fall over. It's, and it doesn't belong to you. And then you find what fits you. Because I find that everybody tells somebody, they tell the girls, you need a Sportster. That's a chick's bike. A Sportster, the actual Sportsters themselves were the most top-heavy motorcycles Harley Davidson ever made. Like, most men couldn't ride them without dumping them over half the time. So, it wasn't a real thing. But some people are vertically challenged. Some people don't have, like, a lot of women don't have the upper body strength that guys do to ride that Road Glide or something like that. So, yeah, I tell them to go rent a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's actually that's very good advice. I like that. And that's not always an option, like to be able to rent motorcycles. But I definitely tell all my students, like, go to different dealerships and sit on as many bikes as you can. Like,
test ride them.
If you can. A lot of dealerships don't let you, but and then I tell them about events like Daytona, where you can go with your license.
To the demo.
Do demos. So that's good. But yeah, I want people to sit on different types of motorcycles because like I started on a cruiser because I thought that was cool looking, but nobody told me, well, you should sit on this and see how it feels different. The handling of it is completely different.
Right. And when you get an opportunity to ride each different motorcycle, the way it handles and also how you ride, whether you're just riding in town or you plan to take long distance trips, and the happy medium in between, because not everybody wants that big full dresser if they're spending a lot of time riding up and down the beach at 30 miles an hour, but they still want to take a trip. So sometimes the Road King or like the Indian, they have some models that are almost more convertible where you can add stuff to it and get on and go for those rides. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I see Ivy is writing about telling people to start on something small, like a 250. That's pretty good generic advice, but sometimes, there's a guy who's 6 foot tall in my class. Like, I'm not going to tell him to get on a 250 Rebel. It's just, it won't.
I would.
It won't fit him.
It looked like a monkey humping a football.
Yeah, or like a Honda Grom, right? Like one of
Right.
those little
Yeah.
mini motos. So people are different, and the size does kind of matter. You know, you want to get a bike that fits your person too, as well as
Yes.
your skills. But I
Right.
do like the tiered system of, you know, starting on something less powerful and
And
working
working
your
your way
way.
up. Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense. And for me, that the reason I tell them to rent is because rather than go out and make that impulse purchase and be stuck with something, at least you get the opportunity to try a few different things. That's a better investment first than
mhm,
spending the money and not being happy with it, because you don't know what you want until you've ridden a few.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
unless you got a
that's
lot
true.
of people around you, you could try different bikes and they'll let you ride their stuff, which doesn't happen very
Yeah, I've
often.
never been in that position.
Me either, ever. Oh, and there was a couple other things you wanted to touch on. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, how could somebody get something published on womenwritersnow.com? Right.
Yeah, tell us
Um,
that.
so, one of the things that are quite popular on the website are what we call reader stories. So, the reader
Right.
submitted stories. So, everybody's got a story. Everybody, we all have so many stories. We don't even know which one to pick. Right.
Right.
So if you want to contribute to Women Writers Now, just send us your story. You know, that's the first place to start. And then, because I know everybody wants to do product reviews, like get stuff and review it.
Oh,
But you got to start with the easy stuff first, like your
right.
own personal story. So, and we have guidelines on the website on what, you know, how to do that, like how many words to write, how to take the pictures and submit the pictures.
Yeah. And that way you know if they can write.
True.
Right.
Yeah. It's a
Because
good
before
place
you
for me
want,
to start.
yeah, it's a good place to meet. And then, you know, the same thing backwards. Everybody has a story and they want to tell it. Well, there's your opportunity to do
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things was getting an opportunity to do that. And I
Yeah.
had to do it the same way. I didn't just start by writing tech stuff for Miss Genevieve. I did the same
Mhm.
way. I submitted it, and you know,
Yep.
I've done that. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of people don't even know that that's an opportunity that's there. So that's
It's
awesome
there.
that you touch on that. See,
Yeah.
that's the good stuff.
Thank you.
That's why we got you here today. You know, we wanted to get to know you, of course, but then we also want to know how we
Mhm.
can be around you and stay around you. That's a good way to do it, right? That's
Yeah.
constant contact there. Once
Mhm.
you're in, you're in. All right. What
Yeah.
else was there? That was it.
That's good. That's good. You can get back to your questions.
Well, I have the question that I wanted to ask. And if you could go back and tell your 25-year-old self something, what would that be?
Yeah. So that would be, I think about my daughter now because she's 22. She's
22,
close to
right?
25, and I see what she's going through. So my advice would be, don't waste your time with somebody who's not fulfilling you. You know, for if you're with somebody and that person is not, and you know in your gut that that's not the person that you're meant to be with, don't waste too much time on that, because the longer you're with somebody that you shouldn't be with,
Mhm.
you're missing opportunities to meet other people. Same
The
thing with
one.
something that you're doing. Maybe if you're in a job that you can't stand, you know, move on, move on. Don't
Right.
stay
Don't
stuck.
waste any time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Yep.
sense. That's good advice. I like that. Okay, and if money didn't matter and you could take a road trip on your motorcycle anywhere, where would you go and with who?
So I would, the thing that comes to my mind is the Alps. I would love to ride
Ooh,
the
Swiss
Alps,
Alps. Okay.
with Mary, of course.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but I'm not doing that. But next year, and around this time next year, at the end of September, Women Writers Now is partnering up with a company called Blue Strata Tours, and we're doing a ladies first tour of Portugal and Western Spain. So
Wow.
that's what I've been kind of working on a little bit, behind the scenes, but it's the news is out. I don't really have details other than it's going to be about 6 days of riding. Fully, you know, there's going to be a leader. I'll be there riding. I'm trying to get my dad to come too, because it's
How
ladies
cool.
first. So men are welcome as long as they're with a lady rider, you know, so
Okay.
ladies first. Um,
Neat.
and it's going to be, you know, 4-star accommodations, great food. We're going to tour a winery and have a wine tasting. and a little bit more relaxed pace because it's a women's tour. It's not going to be like, 12 hours of riding from point A to point B. It's going to
Right.
be, maybe 200 miles a day. Even that sounds
Okay.
like probably more than what we'll actually do. So
Right.
I'm excited about that.
That is so cool. And you're going to have that open to riders to sign up and come along?
So if people, it just went out with the last newsletter. So if you want to get on like an email list to be the first to know about, the itinerary and the motorcycles that we're going to rent, you can email info@womenridersnow.com, or actually better yet, just email me directly, Tricia, Tricia @womenridersnow.com. And I'll make sure that Bill, who's the owner of Blue Strata Tours, that he gets that. And
because
so
Sharon
then
Kohler was just asking if you had information on Portugal Ride on Women Riders Now. So she can just email you, Tricia, at womenridersnow.com.
Or you know what? I did post it in our events calendar too, which by the way, I know that there's lots more events on the schedule that we need to update. If you guys know about women specific events for 2024, email me and I'll get it on the events calendar.
Send them. And then I'm going to go ahead and on the Athena After Dark website, I'll go ahead and I'll make sure that there's a link to all of that so that everybody can get to you and find out about that stuff. That's awesome. Okay.
Great.
So tell us something about yourself that most people don't know.
Well, that was the dart picture, I guess. That was my thing. It's not super exciting, but I love to play darts and I'm really good at it.
You're really good at it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
That's
really
awesome.
good at it. Mary keeps telling me, like, find a way to make money at this, because
They have dart leagues.
They do.
They have
Yeah, I
dart
get
leagues.
together with my girlfriends. I saw one of them was on here before. I don't know if she still is. It's kind of late. But yeah, we get together on most Tuesday nights and we go down to the club and we throw some darts. But it's like, it's a competition, but it's fun. It's not it's not an official league.
That's okay.
Yeah.
As long as you're having fun, that's what matters. Have you ever tried axe throwing?
No, but I want to. I think
you have to.
Good.
Oh, you have to. I took Don for Valentine's Day. I took him to axe throw on Valentine's Day of all the things you could do.
Was it
there was
hard?
Nobody there.
Was it hard to do?
No, and it was so cool, and I was really good at it. I was like, wow, this is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, you'd like that if you like darts, because I like darts too.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Okay, so lastly, if you tell us your 5 good things.
Okay. So my 5 good things, I'm going to read from my list. I hope that's okay.
No, that's good.
I'm grateful to God for every day that I get to live another day. I mean, that seems obvious, but that's every day I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my wife, my daughter, my family, my friends, my kitties. Like, I'm afforded like all this love.
Right.
And so that's number 1. Number 2, I'm grateful for feeling safe in my own home. I mean, that's nothing that we should ever take for granted.
You ain't lying.
If you have that, right? Safety in your own home. I'm grateful that I have everything that I need and more. I have more than I need, but I have everything I need. And this seems very basic, like it's simple stuff, but it's really things that I thank God every day for these things. Food, water, shelter. It's like what we need to live. We don't need anything else.
Nope.
Number 4, I'm grateful to be able to move and function with little pain. Not a lot of pain. Sometimes there's more pain than other times, but it's like, it's only going to get harder the older we get.
Yes, ma'am.
Grateful for what my body can do right now.
Right. That's a good one. I like that.
And lastly, I'm grateful to live in a time and a place that allows women the freedoms that we didn't have just like 1 generation ago, maybe 2, right? So, yeah, those are my 5 things.
That is awesome. I can't thank you enough for being here. I'm so honored, and you made my evening. Everybody out there, I'm sure, has had a wonderful time, and we're grateful that you stayed up way past your bedtime and took a nap for us. And that is so cool. And more than anything, I look forward to being able to spend time with you again soon, very soon.
Yeah,
So
I hope. Yeah, absolutely.
tell-
Anytime you're coming up north, just give me a buzz.
I will. And same thing backwards when you're coming down here. And tell Miss Mary I said thanks for letting us have some of her time, because I
I
know
will.
your time together is important as well. And all right, I'll see
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
kiddo.
much.
All right, everybody, make sure that you follow Miss Tricia by going on Women Writers Now, subscribe to the newsletter, keep updated with all the news, and check out her Facebook page. I'm glad everybody's saying they enjoyed it tonight. So that's fantastic. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to give you guys my afterthought, and we're going to get on with putting it to a close. All right, so my afterthought is, like Miss Tricia said, be grateful. Take the time to be grateful for the things that you have. As things go on around this world, we see that we're blessed, and some of us, we do take for granted the things that are just basic, because we have that and so much more. Remember to help others. Sometimes people won't say that they need help or ask for it, but if you know it and you see it, don't be blatant about, here, you need help. Just make a gentle, kind, generous donation of your time or whatever it is they need. If you can help fix something around their house, elderly folks, people who don't have as much as you, whatever you can do, it's important. The holidays are coming up. Kids are going to need toys. Families are going to need food. Donate to a local food bank. Find an angel tree for Christmas and make sure that kids have something that they're going to get for Christmas. I don't know. Halloween, buy good candy. Don't cheap out on these kids, okay? Make sure that you do some really good candy. Don't give them granola bars and all the healthy stuff that you eat all the time. It's once a year. Give them some good bubble gum and some Reese's and Snickers. Don't cheap out on them. Don't buy the cheap Jawbreakers or the little dum-dum lollipops. Go for the good stuff, okay? Help us out, And the parents, well, I'm sorry about the dental bills, but it's only once a year. So, okay, no, for real. And everybody, like I always say, remember, smile big, spread your sunshine, even on the rainy days. Be kind to yourself and others, because it does truly matter. And please follow and share. Send us your pics, your emails, anything in your community that's going on. Send us your 5 good things, events. This week, I wanted to get right to our guest because she's so fantastic and we had so much to talk about. So I skipped a few things, but we'll have some good segments. Next week's guest is a surprise. And then October 30th, should I tell him, babe? You're still surprise. We're going to have, go to the calendar on the website. He keeps telling me that we're going to have Gloria Struck here. Gloria's going to be my guest. Oh, yeah. Shh, don't tell Dawn. Gloria is going to be here. I'm so excited about that. You have no idea. Okay, so yes, you can find it at AthenaAfterDark.com, at Athena After Dark on YouTube, at Athena After Dark Productions on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so thanks to our sponsor, Techno Research, and to our guest tonight, Miss Tricia. I'm not even gonna massacre it. It's okay. I massacred Evanovsky and I was related to them, so I can't even tell you. But Miss Tricia from Women's Writer Now. Stop making faces over there at me, babe. I see you. He's trying to tell me, how they mouth it, but I still can't pronounce it. So it's okay. We love her dearly. Okay, and don't forget, tune in next week for another great guest. See the upcoming guests on our website calendar. I love you all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next Monday. Chopper on and have a great week.